Hello everyone. This video is on the poem For Anne Gregory by W.B. Yeats. This poem is a conversation between a young man and a young woman. Let's find out what they are arguing about. Never shall a young man thrown into despair by those great honey-colored ramparts at your ear love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair. But I can get a hair dye and set such color there, brown or black or carrot, that young men in despair may love me for myself alone and not my yellow hair. I heard an old religious man but yesternight declare that he had found a text to prove that only God, my dear, could love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair. Never shall a young man thrown into despair. Despair means thrown into disappointment or being hopeless, having no hope at all. That is a state of despair. Never shall a young man thrown into a state of hopelessness by those great honey-colored ramparts. Honey-colored and yellow hair means yellowish brown or blonde hair. Here it stands for blonde hair or yellowish brown hair. Ramparts. What are ramparts? Ramparts are the protective walls around a fort. So, never shall a young man thrown into despair by those great honey colored ramparts. So, this woman is being described to be having blonde hair covering her ear, just like a protective wall. Love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair. So let's see, why are young men thrown into despair? Why are these young men into a state of hopelessness? Because they find the woman so beautiful because of her blonde hair that they have no hope of winning her love. They find the woman too beautiful for them, too beautiful so that they feel that they cannot win her love, and that is why they are thrown into a state of despair. There is no hope that they can win this woman's love. Let's analyze the line, love you for yourself alone. What does the poet mean by this? For yourself alone means just for your inner qualities, just for your true self, and not your yellow hair. Now, what does yellow hair mean? Yellow hair here is symbolic of external beauty. So, this is an important point to note here, that yellow hair is symbolic of external beauty. So, the poet wants to say that no man will love you only for your inner qualities, your true self, and not just for your external beauty. Another important thing is to discuss the significance of the word ramparts. Now, what is the significance of the word ramparts here? The blonde or the yellow hair at her ear, which you can see by those great honey colored ramparts at your ear, they act as a protective wall. Just like ramparts, they hide a fort, they act as a protective wall for any fort. Similarly, the yellow hair here are acting as an hindrance and do not let young men look beyond the woman's external beauty. Yellow hair, which is symbolic of external beauty. So they are protective walls and do not let young men look beyond the woman's external beauty, look into her soul, look into her true inner self. So, this is what is the importance, the significance of the use of the word ramparts here in this stanza. But I can get a hair dye and set such color there, brown or black or carrot. Here in this stanza, the woman is now arguing against what the young man has just told her, that no person would love her just for her inner self, her true self, and not because of her external beauty. So here she says, and set such color there. It means that she will change the color of her hair. And from that blonde, honey colored yellow hair, she will change her color to brown or black or carrot. Now, at that time, these colors were not considered beautiful, or they were not meant to add to the beauty, right? So she says that she will use these three colors, either of them, brown or black or carrot, change the color of her hair. And why would she do that? This she would do to make herself look less attractive, because according to the young man, it's because of her attractive looks men are in love with her. They fall in love with her only because of her attractive looks. So she argues that she would change the color of her hair so that she is less attractive. And why does she want to do that? So that young men in despair, it means that men who have lost all hope of winning her love because of her external beauty, they love me for myself alone and not my yellow hair. So that they love her for her true self. Love me for myself alone means love her for her true self. She wanted men to love her for her true self, her inner qualities, and not her yellow hair, not her external beauty. And that is why she says that she would change the color of her hair to make herself look less attractive. Yellow hair, external beauty, symbolic of external beauty. I heard an old religious man but yesternight declare. Religious man, priest. So here now this young man is telling her that he heard an old priest but yesternight declare. Yesternight means last night. So he says that the previous night he must be listening to some sermon, and he heard an old priest say. Declare means say, speak, the night before. And what did the priest say? That he had found a text. Text is a religious book in this context. Text is a religious book. So it must be written in some religious book what the priest must be talking about. And what did he find in that religious book, in that text? That only God, my dear, could love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair. So he says that according to the priest, what the priest said the night before, that only God can love one for one's true self. Only God can love you just for your true self, just for your inner qualities, and not your external beauty. God has nothing to do with external beauty, whereas all other human beings might love you only for your external beauty. They might not look into you, into your true inner self. And only God is capable of loving you for your inner qualities. Before we start discussing the poetic devices, it's important to discuss a few other things, like what is the theme of the poem. Theme of the poem means the central idea, the main topic, what the poet has focused on or what the poet has tried to deal with through the poem. What is the message of the poem? The message the poet wishes to convey to the reader. And what is the tone of the poem, or the tone of the poet, the tone in which he has conveyed this message and theme. So theme here is love. The poet has focused on the idea of love here. What is the message? So this main idea of love has been dealt with to give the message that only God can love just for one's true self, one's inner qualities, and not external beauty. And human beings are incapable of loving just for one's true self and not external beauty. Now, what is tone? Tone is the attitude of the writer or the poet and the characters. In the poem or in any form of writing, if there are other characters, so they also have distinct tones in which they communicate. So, here that attitude, not just of the writer, but of the characters also. The tone, the attitude in which the theme and the message have been dealt with. So, what is the tone here? The tone in which the poet has dealt with the theme of love and given the message is conversational and argumentative. This is a conversation, like in the very beginning, I told you that it's a conversation between a young man and a young woman. So the poet's tone here is conversational, and Anne somewhere argues a bit that how she would want to change her looks. So she's arguing with the young man that how she would change her looks by changing the color of her hair, and then maybe then young men will love her for her inner self. So the tone of the poem Anne Gregory is conversational and argumentative. Let's move on to the literary devices or the poetic devices here. Let's take stanza 1 here. Never shall a young man thrown into despair by those great honey-colored ramparts at your ear. So you see, we can see rhyming words here. So a clear device here is rhyme. So if you see in the second line, the fourth line and the sixth line, despair, ear and hair, that they are rhyming. Let's have a quick discussion of the rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme is the plan of the rhyming words. Let's name the first line A, the last word man, A. Now here no other word is rhyming with man. Therefore, the second line last word despair becomes B. So if you see here, ear and hair, they are rhyming with despair, so they become B and B. Let's come to the third line, the last word colored. Not rhyming yet, so we give it a new letter C. Nothing rhymes and alone becomes D because nothing rhymes. So what is the rhyme scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, B, D, B. Next device is metaphor. We have discussed this previously. Ramparts at your ear, hair have been assumed to be ramparts. Alliteration, if you see here in this line, the second last line, love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair. So this is repetition of the same initial sound Y in consecutive words. That's what makes it alliteration. Symbolism, this also we have discussed. Yellow hair. Yellow hair is symbolic of external beauty. These are the devices in this stanza. Let's move to the second stanza. But I can get a hair dye and set such color there. Alliteration. So rhyme is there and it's the same rhyme scheme. So I'm not going to repeat that. Alliteration. Second line, set such color there. Same initial sound S in consecutive words. Brown or black. Third line, same initial sound B in consecutive words, makes it alliteration. Love me myself, love me for myself and not my yellow hair. The last and the second last line. So here same initial sound M in consecutive words, alliteration. Anaphora, if we see in the third line, or black or carrot. Why this is anaphora? Because or has been repeated in the beginning of consecutive phrases, or black or carrot. Symbolism, I'm repeating so that this gets clear to you. Yellow hair is symbolic of external beauty. So here, whenever the poet says yellow hair, he is taking yellow hair as a symbol of external beauty. I heard an old religious man, but yesternight declare. Now, these two lines, if you read carefully, little bit order of the words is not correct. This is called inversion, where the words are little haphazardly placed for different purposes, sometimes for emphasis, sometimes for rhyme. So here the poet has used inversion so that the stanza becomes rhyming stanza. So what should be the correct order? But I heard an old religious man declare yesternight. Anaphora, let's see line 3 and 4, that he had found that only God. That has been repeated in the beginning of consecutive lines. This is what makes it anaphora. Hoping that you liked the video and understood well. See you in my other videos. Till then, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.